Hello everyone, I'm Polly and today I'm working on Tangy's house and their little citrus farm or orchard, whatever you may prefer to call it. This area is behind or the continuation of the road that I worked on last week with Pico's tea farm, and this is the last main build on the rural side. I mean, I feel like the rural side is tiny, but it's actually bigger than the city side somehow, or like about as the same size. Sounds crazy. I think it's because it has less builds. I don't know, but if you may know that if you've been following this island from the beginning, you may know that Tangy was not on my first list of villagers. She was like an impulse invitation for this island. I found her on a villager hunt and I told her to come to this island. I didn't really know what to do with her on the island. I didn't even know if she was going to stay, but I'm so glad that I invited her because, first of all, she's super cute and I've never had her on one of my islands, and her house complements this area so nicely. Besides being a big build, the orchard adds more green to this area, which was something that I was kind of getting a little bit concerned about because this is a rural area and there was not a lot of green going on because I can't stop myself from doing buildings and structured builds, and I need to stop honestly. But I really like how it has purpose, so it's good for me, like for my brain, because things need to have a purpose for my brain to accept it, basically. And it looks nice and it fills up a huge space. My biggest inspiration for our house, like mostly our exteriors, is an area on Genshin Impact. I love that game. I think it's such a beautiful game, and I always get so inspired to work on my Animal Crossing islands whenever I'm playing because those areas are so beautiful that I just want to remake them in my islands, So many islands are heavily inspired by Genshin Impact, and this is one of them. I didn't really know at first how to connect the orchard to the rest of the house because I didn't want the orchard to be like accessible from the exterior, but I also wanted to have this grand front yard. I think you can call it a front yard. So I just kind of have this separation, like there's the front of the house that is a little bit more fancy or fancier, and then there's the little path that takes you to the orchard. And when I decided to have Tangy on this island and I figured out build for her, I knew that I had to use the little bathtubs with the yuzu. I think they look super cute. They are one of my favorite items in the game because they remind me of one of my favorite animals, capybaras. So yeah, I think it looks so cute on this area. And I think this is the only area in this island with fruit trees. I'm not like the biggest fan of the way the fruit trees look on my islands because I'm always like super realistic, but I had to add orange trees on this build because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. But it's nice to have like an excuse to use fruit trees, basically. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I just added a big deck where there's multiple things going on, because growing orange trees is like doesn't take up that much time in your life, right? So I just try to make this area busy, but also look as natural as possible. And I didn't really know that I was going to use those bamboo lamps on this path, but once I put one down, it looked so cute that I had to do like a path with those lanterns, and I think they look super, super cute. I also added more stuff to the street itself, kind of finish off what I started last week with Pico's house. And, just filling it with more nature, more trees, more green, because this is the rural side after all. And I really like how natural this whole area is looking. I didn't really know how to finish like the edges of our house, so I just put some fencing, and I'll probably take down some of the cliff and do something down there next to the beach once I work on the beach when it eventually happens. But yeah, for a cat, she has a lot of bathing areas. I'm just realizing that. But some cats like water, I guess. Besides working on her house, I also worked on a little lookout area next to it, and I ended up just destroying it and doing something else once I stopped recording. I didn't record the new lookout. I kept the temporary or old lookout on this video, but I ended up changing it because I wasn't really feeling it. It wasn't really like looking how I wanted it to look. So I just did something completely different, and I will show it on the community page. I will share some photos of the new lookout, and I'll also share more stuff on Instagram if you're interested in that. I usually post there most days with photos of the island, and you can see like the areas completing each other, because when you're watching these videos, yes, I show the final result at the end, but it's just that area. It's not really inserted on the rest of the builds, like the surrounding builds. And on Instagram, you can kind of see that. And of course, on the final tour, you'll have like a better perspective how it all looks once everything's finished. But I think it's nice to see the progress, I guess. Here's the interiors of our house, and I struggled a little bit with our house. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really know. I wanted to have the ocean view, Our house is right at the edge of the island, and it's right next to the ocean. So I wanted her to have an ocean view because it's super zen and all that. But I didn't really know how to accomplish it or accomplish that. But I like how it turned out. Our interiors are super simple, just like Pico's. But on these interiors, I used more yellows and more reds and browns, because I think Tangy screams yellow and orange and green, of course. And I like how the colors interact with each other on our interiors. There's a lot of browns and greens, and then there's the pops of yellow that I think complement the whole area super well. And that is basically it. I just changed the lighting a little bit, and this is how it looks basically. And here's the final result of this whole area now that it's finished. I really like how this whole area is turning out. The rural side is looking so cute in my opinion. And here's the little passage to the orchard that I haven't really closed up the orchard for now. I'll do it later. Here's the lookout area that already had some modification, but yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this area as much as I do. And if you do, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can also support my content by becoming a member. And if you haven't watched the other areas on this island being built, here's a playlist. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!